For our guest today, we have Miss Franny Roy. She's the owner of Service Dogs of Acadiana. And of course, that implies just exactly what it means, service dogs. And she's here to tell the community that she has animals that she works with that can be given to people who are in need of service dogs, whether it's a veteran or non-veteran. She's here to help the community. Miss Franny, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, look, tell me a little bit about what Service Dogs is about.
My company is to help the community and providing service dogs, getting the service dog into place for the community and making that handler's life a little bit better. That way they can go back out in the community.
Okay, so really you're letting them out of the house, so to speak.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it doesn't matter what type of, well, of course they have certain types of diseases, but of course those diseases covers a lot of territory that can, I guess you can say that would be in your favor to say you have dogs that will go into those areas and categories that normally most dogs won't, but service dogs will.
Correct. They're granted special privileges, I guess you would say. They're allowed to go. They're looked at as medical devices. So anywhere you would bring your medical device, whether it be a wheelchair, a cane, a walking aid, they're allowed to go with you.
Yeah, a medical device. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes,
Okay.
they're looked at. The federal government deems them as a medical device.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. Does it cost anything to the veteran or to the?
For the veteran, we take donations, and 50% of my company is solely dedicated toward veterans.
50%.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's pretty good, guys. So the type of dogs that you get involved with, are they normally which type? German Shepherds, Collies, whatever.
It all depends on the handler and the handler's needs, but I do prefer, and it's not to say that I'm always going to place this certain type of dog, but it depends what they need for mobility. I'm not going to set them up with a Chihuahua for mobility.
Okay.
So
I like that.
it's not that I'm downing on Chihuahuas or anything
Yes.
like that, but for mobility, I would suggest German Shepherd, and of course I would talk to the handler and see how their feelings on how they take the breed. Labs, golden retrievers, collies, border collies, anything that they were made for herding or they are made for working purposes.
For working purposes.
Yes, sir.
When you say working purposes, what does that mean?
Working purposes, what their breed standards are. German Shepherds are made to herd.
Okay, meet the herd.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay.
Great Pyrenees, they're the big white fluffy dogs. They're made to herd as well, so they would be very sturdy for mobility purposes.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not aware of all that mess, but anyway, but that's pretty good though. So here in Acadiana, I know you've just recently started this, right? About
Yes,
a year
sir.
ago, something like that.
Yes, sir, you're correct.
How are you going with how is things happening with you?
It's going slow but steady. So slow and steady wins the race.
Okay, so more or less, you're slowly getting the word out to the community,
Yes, sir.
where you can really assist the community with bringing dogs into their homes. Whenever you get into, or where do we normally get these dogs from?
Different type of places. I will look from Lafayette Parish Control Center, Animal Control Center.
Okay.
Whether the pound, the shelter, as
Okay.
some people know it as. I work hand in hand with them. They let me temper test the dogs that I see that possibly may. Some of the rescues, ARFLA, Acadiana Animal Aid, and other rescue centers around the Acadiana area. I hope to expand into St. Landry, Iberia, St. Martin, and Acadia. So I'll pull from there, and also there's certain breeders that I know personally
Okay.
that are dedicated to veterans as well.
Okay.
That I'll pull from there. The candidates will be pulled from there.
Okay. So I'm not sure if I covered this or not, but would that be any cost to the veteran or to the non-veteran?
For the veterans, I'll take donations.
You'll take donations?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What kind of donations are you looking at to get a dog fully trained?
Fully trained, what I'll do is
What amount of money would it take to fully train one dog?
I would say around $500 to $600.
$500 to $600?
Yes, sir.
About what kind of period? 1 month, 2 month, 3 month period?
It all depends on the handler and the dog, so we can go as fast or as slow as the handler and the dog will take to each other. Some will take a little bit slower, some will go very fast.
Okay. Very slow, very fast. Is the temperament between the two?
Yes, sir. And
Okay.
how quickly the dog catches on to that handler's needs. The recent veteran that I placed a Weimaraner with, the Weimaraner started learning 4 hours after I placed the veteran and the Weimaraner together.
4 hours.
Started alerting, yes sir, but I understood that temperament of that Weimaraner with that veteran. So it's
Yeah.
all about tagging everybody together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you what, this is going to end our first segment, and we'll be back in a couple seconds. We're back with Miss Franny, and she's going to continue where she left off. So, Miss Franny, it's on you.
Yes, sir. To pick up where we left off, the veteran has done many tours of duty in Iraq. He joined after the 9/11 attacks, and he served until recent. He just got out.
Okay.
He met the qualifications for a service dog, and for his temperament, I looked for a Weimaraner.
Okay.
And Weimaraners are very clingy. They're also known as the Grey Ghosts. They're German lines. They're working dogs during the day and made to be a lap puppy at night.
Okay.
And if you ever seen a Weimaraner, you don't have any lap after after the night. So
Yeah, you're right.
so that's the temperament that certain dog has. So with that veteran's temperament paired with that Weimaraner, the veteran said that he actually got some sleep that night, that first night that I paired them with. So
First night.
Yes, sir. So it could, like I said, it could be very, very quick, or it could be, you can just start slowly work on that relationship between the handler and the dog.
Okay. Well, I would assume that being in a military combat role or situation or whatever, and that you have a dog with you, a dog would kind of give you some security knowing
Yes.
that they got an extra pair of ears looking out or
Yes.
listening to things. And therefore the veteran can more or less go to sleep knowing full well the dog will wake him up if something is out of ordinary. So I can
Correct.
see where you're going with this. Most of the veterans that you work with, are they involved with PTSD?
Yes, sir.
A lot of them, or majority all of them?
I would
guess.
say 99.9%,
Okay.
almost to 100% is PTSD.
Okay.
Nightmares, high anxiety thresholds.
Okay, so more or less the dogs give them a sense of security so
Yes,
they can
sir.
continue on and trying to meet the daily
Their daily needs.
The daily needs,
Yes,
yes,
sir.
yes. So, you mentioned another type of dog, like temperament, I think you said,
German
the
Shepherds.
German Shepherd.
Yes, sir.
And, but I can't understand, I can understand why, like this one dog only took 4 hours, and some take longer than that, so to get these dogs, I know you went out with the community that have a dog who wish to donate a dog to you,
They can, yes,
they
sir.
can do that.
I'll go out and I'll do a temperament test to see if the dog has that temperament to be ready to serve once it's called to action.
Okay. Just how do they get in contact with you?
They can call my cell phone at 337-356-5695. I do social media on Facebook, Service Dogs of Acadiana, and they can also email me at servicedogsofacadiana@yahoo.com.
Okay. So you got various ways of getting in contact with
Yes,
you.
sir.
You find that more, I think when we talked last time, you said that there were a lot of veterans that were seeking your services, but you were kind of lacking in dogs. Did I get that? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, sir. Sometimes I have more people seeking dogs than I have dogs to provide or temperament tests for. So sometimes I have more dogs than veterans or just the general public that I need to. They can either get a dog from, they can look at the shelter, the Lafayette, or different facilities, different parish entities.
Okay.
They can look at rescues. Or
Okay.
they may have a dog already that's already their pet,
Mm-hmm.
but they may want it to put into service for them.
Okay. So I tell the community that if you have a dog out there that you feel that would be needed to help a veteran or even a non-veteran, please get in contact with Miss Franny, and she'd be more than happy to work with you and make sure that your dog get the best of care. So I do know that in dealing with the military, okay, a lot of the guys are coming back with PTSD and other problems as well. Do you find that the success rate with the veteran and the dog, do they really have a certain bond
Yes.
to where they don't ever lose that bond?
Correct. Yes, sir. I do find that with the veterans because they're mission oriented, they're task driven, and they know that's their method of operation to go ahead. This is my dog. This is my lifeline. This is going to be my right hand to help me out.
Well, I can understand that because just like a person who has a broken leg need a crutch.
Correct.
So the dog more or less is really plays an important role in a person's life. Since they can go anywheres, now anywheres of course with the operating room and so forth. Restaurants, how do restaurants look upon these dogs? I mean, I'm asking, I'm not
No.
trying to accuse the restaurants of anything, but a restaurant go in there, you walk in with one.
They have laws governing what their business rights are and what service dogs' rights are. So service dogs will normally go underneath the table and tuck underneath the chair. And you won't hear a peep from them until you're ready to get up and give them the command to get up and
Go. Well, I
Yes,
tell you,
sir.
what, this is going to end the second segment. We're back with Miss Franny, and she's going to continue where she left off. And Miss Franny, the floor is yours. I know we're talking about restaurants.
Yes,
so
sir.
I didn't know dogs had rights. Okay.
service dogs' rights, but they are to be seen and not heard. Sometimes when I bring my service dog out, I have her tucking under the table or underneath the booth, and it's always the kids. Mommy, look at the kid. You look at the dog.
Okay.
Look at the dog, and the mothers or the father's like, no, leave those. Turn back around and. And I'm just kind of grinning to myself, and I said, and I normally tell them it's okay, I have a service dog underneath here. One of my favorite places to eat, they know who, I bring
Whenever you walk in, they know what to expect. Okay.
Yes, sir. And then 25% of my business is for business rights, whether it be restaurants, housing, airports, what the service dogs laws are governing when they go into airports.
When you say airports, okay, that's one thing. They go in with the passenger inside the cabin?
Yes, sir.
Are they charged with a seat?
No, sir.
Okay.
The service dog they'll give you bulkheads. Normally, the airlines will give you bulkhead space, and the dog will tuck.
Right by you.
Yes, sir. Or if the flight is not full, they'll normally say, look, this is a little bit more leg room for you and your service dog. Why don't y'all come and, give up your seat for a larger seat.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. You know, I mean, when you mention airports, I had to ask you about the airplane.
Yeah, they don't go underneath in cargo space. They come with you.
I can understand that too. What other area or category of businesses that have a little bit of more of an understanding, I guess you can say, about bringing dogs in? What? And I know you said that they're business dogs, but just what other categories?
Normally, the housing department for apartments or rentals, they have to go through a special continuing education hour course. That way they can be brought up on the laws up to date.
The housing.
Yes, sir.
They have to be brought up on the housing.
Yes,
Shouldn't
sir.
they already know that?
Yes, but it's always, per the federal government, they have to be so many hours.
Okay.
So
Do you find that they, in the industry, do you find that they're pretty much compliant with everything? I mean, no problems?
majority of them, yes.
Yeah.
And if they do give you any problems, you can just cite the ADA laws and bring a certain certificates up that you need. They'll keep it on file, and then it's normally good after that.
Okay, okay. Well, tell me something else that you think is really relevant to the community as far as about the service dog. I know we've covered a lot of territory, but is there one particular thing that you'd like to get involved with as far as letting the community know and the veterans know?
Education.
Education.
is the key to everything here, and a lot of understanding, because all disabilities are not visible.
Right,
Because you can have a veteran who comes back and they're suffering from PTSD, maybe a traumatic brain injury, and they look fine.
right,
They'll
right.
have all their limbs and
Yeah.
capacities. However, that veteran needs help. And if that service dog provides help for that veteran, then I've done my job for as far as education and getting them on the right path that they need to go to get
Yeah.
back out.
Well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned something that we didn't cover the first segment. A little bit of history behind, I know you got your dad is involved in this to some degree.
Yes,
so
sir.
He's a veteran as well.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about the history. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. My dad is an Air Force veteran. He came out as a technical sergeant. He worked on C-130s and helicopters in the Vietnam era. He now is at the point where he can qualify for VA benefits.
You can qualify for VA benefits?
Well, he put in his application. He did all the paperwork for the VA.
Okay. Just recently?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And he asked me to proofread a couple of papers for him. And that's how I found out that my father suffered from PTSD. But he was very quiet. Vietnam veterans are normally quiet about their
Yes, we
roles.
are. Majority more. So, I mean, I can understand that.
So after I read this paper from my father, I said, wow, this is really intense. I never knew this, and my father never spoke about it. And when I started my company, I said 50% of my company has to go toward veterans. Because like I said, not all disabilities are visible.
Right, right, right.
And I personally cannot repay my father and all the veterans for my freedom. That way, because I wanted to start this company, I had the freedom to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But they fought for our freedom to give it to us.
Yeah.
So my father, when his first plane flight in Vietnam was landing at the Air Force Base when the Tet Tet Offensive
Tet
started.
Offensive.
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, I think we come into the last segment. This is going to visit her site. Visit her, please call her.